Hi, dear champions, and welcome to this another learning bite where we are going to talk about today self-mastery guidelines. Let's begin today's session by understanding what is self-mastery. Well, all of us want to have that self-control or that expertise over certain things. So self-mastery is often defined as self-control or the ability to exert a strong will against our impulses to steer our future to one of our choosing. It is all about going beyond or going above the distractions. Self-mastery requires having a vision for your future self and harnessing the will to realize that vision. We learn to master ourselves by getting out of our own way, by emerging out of our distractions or our comfort zones. We strip away what we are not to realize who and what we really are, actualizing our potential in the process. So we don't question ourselves, we are always believing in ourselves, and we are in charge of ourselves. And that is what creates self-mastery. And I am sure all of us who are with me today are willing to go to that extent where we can create self-mastery for ourselves. Because once we have mastered ourselves, once we have mastered the will, once we have gone beyond the distractions and the comfort zone, that's where the winning really happens. And like Leonardo da Vinci also says, one can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. So if we have really mastered the will, the desire to work on certain things, the will, the determination that we have is of utmost priority. If we have reached that stage, no one can beat us. So in today's session, champions, let's together learn at these 3 key steps to self-mastery. Now, let's begin with Kailash Satyarthi. He is an Indian social reformer who campaigned against child labor in India and advocated the universal right to education. Over the years, he worked hard to create a vision for himself and decided the path he wanted to choose for his life. Today, he's recognized all over the world and people aspire to become like him. He's become a role model. So he has not only won many awards and recognitions, but also he is a man who has managed to achieve self-mastery over the years through his clear vision for a future that he wanted for himself and those around him. This brings us to our first learning of the day, which is create a compelling vision for yourself. A clear vision will serve us in whatever areas we are seeking growth and improvement. Without vision, our efforts will be aimless and they tend to meander. Compelling is the operating word. It's a very strong, powerful word, compelling. So make the vision something you want to move towards, something that inspires you. And not just something you think you should move towards. No, it's just something which is compelling, which is pushing you, which is maybe attracting you or pulling you or pushing you. In whatever way, there is a force which is acting. It is not because you have to do it and just for the heck of doing it, you are into it. No, compelling is you see value in it. You see the benefit of it. You see that your interest lies there. You see that your liking lies there. You see that the vision that you have planned for yourself is compelling enough for you to take action. So compelling is the operative, is the pivotal word or the pivotal aspect of this creating a vision. So do not create just any vision, but make sure the vision that you have is compelling enough for you to help you move beyond any distractions. So in a usual state, when we have set up a goal for our life or a vision for our life, challenges are bound to happen. But is my vision compelling and strong and powerful enough and attractive enough so that it's pulling me towards it, that no matter what hindrances come, what challenges come, I go beyond them because always on my mind, my driving force is my compelling vision. Sounds cool? Right. Great. So that is what this is. And also, like Tony Clark also says, we are not stuck in the ruts of destiny. We have the power to break free, clear our vision, and see a new life for ourselves. And all of us deserve that. But all of us need to work on that. And it's easy. It's just about creating that compelling power in the vision that we have for our future. So let's go beyond this. Let's move forward and let's learn from another gem of education industry. He is Baiju Ravindran. He is the founder of the multi-million dollar company Baiju's, and most of us have heard about it. Over the years, he committed himself to practicing various teaching techniques and formulating innovative education platforms. It was not an easy journey. He wasn't from a rich family, but his determination and years of practice made him achieve the impossible. And today, he's one of the most recognized faces in the country. And the technologies and the techniques that he uses has really helped students to really excel in their studies and in their understanding of everyday life problems. Now, his story brings us to our second learning of the day, which is commit to long-term practice. Understand that lasting transformation doesn't happen in a moment. It requires consistent practice. We all know that practice makes a man perfect. It's not said just like that. It's because the more you practice, the more your entire persona, your competence, your ability, your skills, they are fine-tuned, right? And they're honed to a level where you work like an expert. No matter whether you are learning a new instrument, practicing communication skills, or meditating, every new skill requires your brain to make new connections and enforce those connections through repeated practice. Whenever we are trying something new or we are going on a new way, they're bound to have apprehensions, we're bound to hesitate, but the practice makes us go confidence. Our brain is like a muscle, champions. As we age, it takes longer and longer to make lasting changes, right? The ability for the brain to learn things quickly and adapt to rapid changes reduces as we age. But repetition through daily practice really helps us in fighting this, in this aspect of aging, and it definitely yields results. So practice is something, practice goes beyond the desire. So I have a desire, say, let's take an example. I have a desire to learn guitar, right? But whenever I try it today, I'm not able to play it, but third day I again have a desire and then I try playing it, it doesn't happen. Now, but when I keep practicing that, even if I don't desire it, today I'm not feeling like playing a guitar or practicing, but I go beyond that because it's important for me and I really want to learn. So I don't have a desire, I'm not feeling like doing it, but because it is practice time, I practice. Tomorrow, I don't feel like playing it, but I still play it because it's my practice time. And over the period of time, soon the practice gets into my routine and the desire is overshadowed. Now, practice becomes my desire. And because I'm practicing every day, of course, the results are coming. And because the results start coming, then the desire automatically comes and stands and walks with the practice. And that's how practice really helps us. It's very natural for us to leave practice or just go just go without practice, thinking, okay, I've practiced for say 10 days and let's take an off for 2 days. Doesn't help that way. The practice has to be consistent. So whatever goal or vision you have set for yourself, practice towards that. Even if you're making micro improvements, micro growths every day than yesterday, still keep going on because that is what really matters, right? So let's take a quick example here. It's about, say, learning new words every day, words that you've never heard of and understanding all about it. So if I talk about, say, I set up a practice time for myself that every day I am going to learn one new word every day and understand all about it, right? Because I know it is going to help me with my vocabulary and my work. I'm just taking an example, for instance. Now, when today I learn a new word, tomorrow I practice that, I revise that, and then I learn a second word. Third day, I revise both these two words, and then I learn a third word. Seems like very slow process, very probably boring, but in a month, I would have learned 30 new words, right? In a year, I would have learned 360 plus words, which is huge. So practice helps you build up brick by brick, but each brick is important. Each brick is the one that gives strength to the entire learning, to the entire skill that I am learning, to the entire vision that I'm building. So practice is the key, and commit to long-term practice is what is our second learning. And if you agree with that, you found it useful, give me a thumbs up. Great. Now, like Malcolm Gladwell also says, practice isn't the thing you do once you're good. It's the thing you do that makes you good. So when you're practicing, don't expect yourself to be expert or like 10 on 10 performing right there. Practice is what will make me 10 on 10. Sounds good? Great. Now let's learn from another aspiring and successful entrepreneur right here. He's Trishneet Arora. He's Young India's entrepreneur, and he's an author, a self-described friendly hacker, and the founder and CEO of cybersecurity startup TSE Security Solutions. Through the years that he has worked on, he worked hard to achieve his final goal. He knew his vision was big, and so he made to set smaller goals for himself and achieve the goals step by step. He started by learning all he could about cybersecurity. Then he went on to take part in as many competitions as he could for maximum exposure. Post this, he worked with various people and gained practical knowledge of the industry and finally made his dream come true. All the little milestones helped him climb the ladder to success. So what he did was the third idea for today's learning, which is set mini goals. In any path to mastery, we all learn to practice for practice sake or to achieve any particular objective, right? But while a compelling vision keeps us focused and inspired, mini goals can help us measure our progress, which is so important. If the goals are not tracked, are not measurable, we feel lost after some time. We might feel very compelled and passionate and right on track at the start of it, but there are high chances of us getting deviated. So our attention shouldn't be on just achieving those aims, but setting mini goals can help us stay engaged in the practice. So what this really means is when we have set a compelling vision and we are practicing every day, it is important to set certain mini goals or milestones that can help us track where have we reached, right? So it's like driving on a highway, right? And you start from point A, you have to reach another city, which is point B. But you also have milestones, right? On the way, you say that, okay, probably this is a smaller city which I'm reaching and I target to reach the city by this time. And then there is this village that I'm reaching and I target to reach this village by this time. And then there is this bridge that I target to reach by this time, or there this river that I intend to cross by this time. So you set mini goals. And once you realize that, okay, the first city that I had to reach, I reached 20 minutes earlier, I feel relaxed. I can relax for 20 minutes, or I can move forward, and then I can really understand that the village that I had planned to reach by this time, I'm actually running 15 minutes late. So I might better hurry up because it'll be night time. So in everyday life, of personal tasks or professional assignments that we do, there are larger goals that we work towards. There are visions, long-term visions that we work towards, but they really become achievable and they really become feasible to achieve when we set mini goals, when we set smaller milestones, we keep tracking them, and that's how we move forward. Does it make sense to you? If it does, give me a thumbs up. Great. Now, the tragedy of life doesn't lie in not reaching your goal. The tragedy lies in having no goals to reach. And we all know that if we do not have goals in our life, we all just go goal, right? Which is like we don't really progress into any direction. We're just beating around the bush, right? So what this really means is to attain that self-mastery, to ensure that whatever I do, I put my 100% into it. How to develop that attitude, how to develop that approach where none of the hindrances, none of the challenges seem like roadblock. They in fact seem nothing because I have such a powerful force pulling me towards my final goal. How to do that? Today we learn 3 key steps to find out what they are. So these 3 key steps of self-mastery are, the first is create a compelling vision for yourself. The vision has to be compelling, so compelling that nothing matters after that. And it has to be compelling to an extent that I start taking action on it. Make sense? Right. The second is commit to long-term practice. And like we learned, practice is not something you do when you are already good at something. Practice is something that makes you good at something, right? So don't expect the practice to yield perfection in the one go or second go or third go or 15th go. Keep practicing because there is no end to practice and there is no end to improvisation of results that you can bring, right? So commit to long-term practice. Don't leave practice. Be very, very sure and be very, very disciplined when it comes to practice. And when you create a compelling vision for yourself and every day you set a target for yourself to keep practicing, it's important that you set mini goals or your milestones that help you move forward and track your progress. Because once you track your progress, you know if you're going slow or if you're going fast. Also, at completion of each milestone, you feel so elated, you feel so delighted, and it gives you so much of positivity, it gives you so much of appreciation to move forward. So all these three key steps, they help us to build up on the self-mastery part, where my will, my desire to move forward, my will, my desire and my determination to achieve something surpasses every obstacle. And that is what self-mastery is all about. And with these three ideas, congratulations, champions, you are all set to win, because this is what is going to take you forward to much, much greater heights of success. Enjoy rides with us. You're most welcome to connect with us. My name is Yasha Vatsa, and I am from Start Consulting Global, and I'll be happy to connect back with you over LinkedIn. That's how my LinkedIn page looks like. And with this, champions, I can assure you one thing. Self-mastery may sound like something which is difficult to attain, but it is not. Because today we have learned these three ideas which are easy to implement. Of course, they will take some discipline in place, but they're easy to practice, they're easy to do. And once you do them, first, creating a compelling vision, second is practice, and third is setting mini goals or intermittent milestones. They all help you to create that greater vision and achieve that vision. With this, champions, I wish you all the very best to achieve these milestones, these greater successes in your life, and you emerging as a winner. Thank you very much, champions. Namaste.